I'd like to welcome Lexi, who's one of our recent graduates from the Recalibrate Wellbeing program. And you, graduated, it must have been, a month or two ago now, something like that, Lexi, is that about right?
I think so, about a month ago, yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me for a quick chat about your experiences throughout the Recalibrate Wellbeing program. And thinking back, to the start of the Recalibrate Wellbeing program, well, just before you started, in fact, what was it that you can think of that was originally motivating you to enroll in the first place?
I think for me, it was more about, I just think it was more of a personal issue, thinking about my daughter. My daughter is 17 in a couple of weeks, but she suffered from quite bad anxiety since she was around 9. And sometimes it's really, really hard to get help. And just, the general day-to-day stuff, just maybe thinking about she was a bad sleeper. She was a good eater, but she probably ate the wrong things. And I think it was just maybe trying to just get a bit more of an understanding around well-being generally, to see if I could just get her on a different path, maybe, help stabilise her moods a little bit, and just if there's generally any tips that I could pick up that could help her, because it is tough not knowing what to do when you don't really know anything about anxiety and depression yourself. And I just think just a better understanding for me, and maybe just trying to be able to just put her on a nicer track in life, especially if she was going into secondary school, which can be very, very difficult. I think especially for girls, it can be very, very tough sometimes. So it was getting a better understanding of life and what I could do for her. But I think also for myself, I've been through 5 years now into the menopause, and I think just trying to understand something for myself, maybe, better eating lifestyle, maybe, better mindset, things I can do. One of the modules was around sort of habit cycles. And I know for myself, things like that, eating, drinking, just general mindset of stuff, and maybe, swapping things out, doing things differently, because everybody has habits and they are hard to change. But if you can do it gradually, I think, anything like that where you can help yourself, it is always a good thing. So it was generally for my daughter, but also a bit for myself as well.
Yeah, I love that reflection, because, and sometimes, we do experience that people may originally feel that they're motivated to join the program because actually, they're there because they want to help others. And what they may find quite quickly throughout the program is that they begin to prioritize their own well-being
as well.
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning, when you had that kind of initial kind of motivation to move into the program, were there any concerns or obstacles that you had perhaps at the start about the program?
I think not obstacles. I think the only thing that probably concerned me, I didn't know how sort of honest you had to be with other people within the groups and stuff, how honest the questions were going to be and stuff. And I was thinking, how honestly can I answer that without offending other people, making people feel uncomfortable? And also I think from a job work perspective, probably a time, because it was on a Tuesday, and Tuesday's the worst time for commercial people. But I got around that. I mean, I attended the modules that I could attend, and the ones that I couldn't, I did on my own. So, yeah, I think that was an issue. It was just the time. It was the time, and it was just probably not embarrassed about myself, but maybe just unsure of how honest I could be about maybe situations and scenarios, I think.
How did you deal with that feeling about how honest or open you could be when you met with me once a week for added accountability with you and your colleague, and there was an opportunity for you and the rest of the people attending to move into breakout rooms just to collaborate and just go through some reflection essentially, and some identifying some of the behaviors and reflections essentially. So how did you kind of then overcome that worry that you had about that?
I think when you go into sort of like the break rooms, when you have a cohort of people with you, I think because you tend to have quite a diverse, structure with different people, and I think you'll always have your stronger people. Your people just don't want to talk, and then you'll have your people in the middle. And I think when people start talking about their situations and scenarios, I think it can encourage you. It can bring you out of yourself, because you think, oh, actually, that's a really good idea, or that happened to me, or actually you've just talked about that, now I don't feel so uncomfortable about talking about it. And I think it just gives you that little bit of encouragement to maybe be that little bit braver and talk about things that you might have thought, Actually, maybe nobody wants to hear that about me, but actually people are talking about lots of different things, and I think that can really help, you know, you to move forward and just give you that little bit of encouragement to be yourself and say, you know, this is what I did. And then people chip in and say, oh yeah, but I did this, but I thought about that. Have you thought about that? You know, and you think, oh, actually, okay. So I think it's a nice circle that, you know, you've started here and you've gone all the way around, but it's a very positive circle that you've actually enjoyed with other people.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a key benefit, isn't it? That people get a chance to reflect around their own progress, but also to notice that people are at different seasons of their life, and they're at different stages, and they may be journeying through the program at different speeds, and that's perfectly fine. And it helps everyone realize that, you know what, progress, not perfection, is actually correct, isn't it? It is that focus that we notice.
It's definitely that. I think you just say with the progress, you know, you can take your time and go as slowly or as quickly as you want. You know, the perfection, what is perfection? You know, it comes at different things for people, doesn't it? You know, what one person's perfection may not be another person's. But I think if you, and it's nice to progress through that with other people as well. You know, and you see the difference in, I think throughout the program, you see the difference between people from start to finish as you go, because you see people becoming more confident in themselves as well, which is really nice.
Yeah, I can absolutely agree. You see people actually becoming much more self-aware.
Very much.
You know, where they were from, and I've said it probably 100 times, but my main objective, delivering and leading the program and coaching people through the program, is to hopefully by the end of week 12, people are prioritizing their well-being perhaps a little more than they did at week one.
Very much. And I think even if you can't do it to the level that you want to do it, I think the fact that you start it, you've got a platform there, and you know, you're taking that first step. So
yeah, fabulous. And so then when you reflect now, because it's been a month since you've kind of concluded and graduated the program, what were some of the kind of key benefits that you personally experienced?
I think, you know, some of the modules were really, really good. There's so many tips and ideas in there. If you, especially like the little progress throughout the week, what you're doing, and you know, this week we want you to pick a task, one of these three. There's so many different things in there that I didn't really think about, to be honest. I mean, the habit cycle was really good for me. The move, you know, the movement. I think just general sort of mindset, looking at things differently, and just being able to just share that with other people. And when I started it, I said to my daughter, I'm going to do it. And she said, oh, you'll be really good at that, Mum, you know, and it's really great. And I think one of the biggest things for me is that sometimes I do talk quite a lot. And I think it was learning to listen more. I think just listening more rather than talking, and actually listening and just waiting, you know, to be able to say something. So I think you can learn a lot for yourself, and think, I just maybe need to change that a little bit. I've seen that person do that and they're really good at it. I can do that. I just need to fit it into my habit cycle and be able to take it forward.
Lovely. And have you noticed then that some of the things that you learned or experienced in the program has started to ripple out and sort of influence other people in and around you?
Yeah, very much. I mean, you know, it's really weird because when I did the second lot of ambassador training, and the lovely people I had with me in the cohort, we've had conversations since then and kept in touch. And one of them thought about me when they were doing something as part of their well-being, and they sent me some information and said, I thought about you when we did the training. This would be brilliant for you. So I think there's lots of positive things. You know, you get to know other people. I think one of the biggest sadness in the business is you work on a particular account, so you don't get to see other people within sectors and stuff. So by doing something like this, you know, you start to build new friendships and relationships, and you know, and they're good to share. So I mean, I would certainly feel very comfortable now if I had a scenario that I thought, how could I do that? I could maybe contact, you know, one of the guys that I worked with in that cohort and just maybe ask for a little bit of advice or something. I think that's really, really good, because they're a great bunch of people and they had some great scenarios and knowledge and experience that I could draw from.
Yeah, brilliant. And it really does, you know, encourage people to invest and prioritize their well-being.
Very much.
And create that ripple effect, that you know, it impact and that circle of influence of people that they live with, work with, and socialize with. So it's although there's personal takeaway benefits that you've highlighted, there's also those kind of secondary kind of benefits that we start to influence and impact other people as well.
very much, because I think that's, that's one of the big things in life, that you tend to put other people first, and then there's no time left for yourself. But then if you don't make that time for yourself and you don't prioritize your own well-being, how can you help other people? So it's learning that it isn't selfish to prioritize yourself. It's actually a really good thing, because you're healthy, you're fitter, you've got a really good mindset, so it makes you more positive and alert and aware to be able to help somebody else.
Love that. That was amazing. Little reflection there. I love that. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. We say it 100 times, don't we, throughout the program? You probably hear it on the videos as well. So what would you say then, knowing what you know now about the program and about how it's delivered, how it's all set up for you, and what would you say then possibly to a friend or a colleague or someone that that might be thinking about enrolling on the program?
I would say don't think about it, just do it. It's it's an amazing program. It's a short time out of your day, once a week, and the knowledge and experience and the friendships you can build from it, they far outweigh anything else, I think. But I think, as I said, not being selfish. We all have our own sanctuaries in life. For me, my sanctuary is walking. That's my church, my time to have my own peace and quiet. And I think, when you go through the modules, there's so many different things to reflect on and see. And I think if you want to learn to help yourself, there's so many tips in there that are very, very easy, very small things, but they start your journey to a better place, just for yourself, never mind anybody else. Just think about yourself at first and what you can achieve. And then it just makes you in a nicer place, and happier to move forward to be able to help other people.
Lovely. Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think that idea that it doesn't have to start out with that mindset of have to make these kind of world-changing transformations very quickly. It can start off very tiny, can't it?
Very tiny, just to give yourself a platform to start from and just build on top of that. But I would recommend the program to anyone. It's, as well as being obviously the serious element of what it's all about, but also there's a nice fun element, and it's really good to debate things and, just understand how people do things differently, and you share a lot, but you gain a lot as well. So I would say do it and don't think about it.
Brill. And finally then, let me ask you a question, because I probably ask this question at least 2 or 3 times a day. But what does optimal well-being mean to you now then, Lexi?
I think for me, it's about just having a healthy mindset, having just for me, it's having a good, clear, balanced life, whether that's working, home life, just being able to see the wood for the trees, being able to prioritize myself. Not, it's not, as I said before, it's not being selfish to prioritize yourself. And I just think, there's a lot of things that I still want to do going forward. I need to lose some weight. I've got some other goals that I need to achieve. And I think just having a clearer mind and being able to look forward and just plan better, because I plan all the time at work. It's a structure, you do it day in, day out. But there's not that much time when you go into your own life because there's so many other things going on. So I think to be able to just stop, clear your mind and think, this is what I do. What do I need to do to get there? It doesn't have to be big steps. I don't need to be running a marathon to get there. Just, doing it gradually, walking, reaching the end of the line. And that's me, just having a nice, clear plan to look forward to, nice, clear mindset. I can't achieve everything. I'm not perfect. I know that. But the things that I can do, I intend to be doing now. So, so it was a really lovely experience. I mean, with the people that you join in with the cohorts and the debates. But generally, I enjoyed it from a mental perspective as well. It made me think a lot about things that maybe I hadn't thought of in a long time. So, well,
thank you so much, Lexi, just for joining me and sharing some of your wonderful experiences from the program. You have access to the program for a year. So is your plan then to kind of go through the program again? What's your plan going forward?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'd love to do. And I just think generally I've been looking at sort of local wellbeing groups that are around and things they do, they sort of promote exercise and eating habits, meetings, just social meetings. So yeah, I think just for me, it's just putting myself out there a little bit more. But I've got to say, Grant, I really, really did enjoy the program. Thank you very much to you and your team for everything you do, bringing it forward. So.
Good stuff. Well, we didn't do anything. I have to say this. I have to say this at the end of every testimonial, because I have to remind people that I didn't really do that much.
Well, you do. Without you, there's no program. So it's
well,
great.
you were the one that made the choices, and you were the one that created that self-motivation yourself. So well done. Thank you for engaging and experiencing the program, and well done for graduating. And we wish you every success for the future, Lexi.
Lovely. Thank you, Grant. Take care.